Okay. Hello, everybody. This is Tina Ditto from TS Ditto Photography. And today I am attempting for the first time to decorate a fake cake or a dummy cake or a prop cake for my photography studio, TS Ditto Studio Photography and Gallery. Now, so today I went to the store and I bought a few supplies. Um, I went to the dollar store, of course, and I bought these, um, I guess, the foam that you use for, I guess, making uh, flower decorations. And so these were $1 a piece for two in a pack. So I have two sets and I've glued them together somewhat. Um, in a YouTube video that I watched on how to do this, they used double-sided tape, but I could not find double-sided tape at the dollar store. I probably didn't look hard enough, but I did find some glue, and I decided to use some dollar store adhesive. It says Fix-All Super Glue Adhesive, and I used that. It appears that it glued maybe three of the little guys together, but this one on the top is not really not adhering as much as I would have wanted it to. So I'll go ahead and add a few more drops of glue. As you can see, the glue in which it is kind of it's got a smell to it, so it is eating through the styrofoam, so that's kind of weird, but hopefully it will stick. For some reason, this top piece of styrofoam is not as wide as the other three, but you know, once I decorate the cake, it should, I guess, kind of freeze in place with what the other products that I'm using. So when I was learning how to do it, the person suggested using this spackling product, and they said to get it from the dollar store. Well, I would say the dollar store product was about a fourth of the size that of this particular jar itself. So I didn't really want to get that. I figured spend a few more dollars and get the product that was suggested, which would be the lightweight spackling. One of the people that I watched a tutorial from said to get the featherweight spackling, but this lightweight spackling is pretty light. And the way I judged it was I actually, when I went to Home Depot and purchased this, and this was probably about $6, I judged it by actually lifting up the canister itself. And then I actually was able to look at it and read lightweight. But all the other canisters of spackling were heavy. So this lightweight was pretty light. So I decided to go ahead and get this one. It was probably about $6, I think I've already mentioned. And at the dollar store, I found this spackling tool. Um, I did go to not Home Depot. I went to Walmart and I found these different color paints, and these will be used in the coloring for the cake itself. And I did also purchase these, what are they called? Piping tools. So this particular one was $3 and it had a set of three. So this was a good buy. Then this one, as you can see, I already tried to start decorating the cake and I decided to start over because I found a little technique as I was going along. I went all the way around. First I started out in like a straight line, and then I started doing a little decorating like little inching around it. So I said, okay, I'm going to start over. So I scraped it all off, put all the spackle and the color inside of my little piping bag, which I decided to use a gallon size Ziploc bag versus buying piping bags, which would be maybe 4 piping bags or 6 piping bags for $7, something like that. I bought freezer bags, 20 in a box, and they were $1.92, possibly $1.78. So whichever, it's great value, so it's on sale from Walmart. This again was the third one out of the package here, and this was $3. And they're all different, as you can see, different types of piping utensils, so it'll give you different effects. I purchased a few more. I purchased whatever this number is, 6B, and it's supposed to be a different type, so it depends on how you want to decorate your cake. But this one, I really like this particular one here, so I decided to get this one as well. I plan on, for my studio, to have different types of cakes, different colors, different sizes for my clients, because I want them to have the option to say, oh yeah, my birthday theme colors are pink, or my birthday theme colors are orange, or my birthday theme colors are white or yellow, purple, whatever. So I have a few of these decorated cakes already set up for my clients to decide and choose from, and then they don't have to go out and spend $20, $30, even $50 on a big fancy cake that they're probably not going to eat because we're playing around with it at a photo studio. So as you can see, I found these other little, these are disposables, and they might be reusable, but these are more flower designs, so I could probably decorate the top of the cake with little flowers or rosettes or something. But in the meantime, I want to go ahead and show you what I was trying to do. Now, of course, in the cake decorating aisle, they have the utensils and the tools that they want you to use. So they have that turnaround roundabout thing that you turn the cake on like this. Well, I went to the kitchen section and I found a turnable, what is this, roundabout that you use for your, I guess, your condiments and things. And this was $1 less, $1 cheaper than the one that was in the cake decorating aisle. So, and so that I won't get it all destroyed, I put a couple of paper towels on top and I cut them in a circle, and just trying not to make everything dirty or what have you. I'm using a paper plate to decorate this particular cake. Now, this styrofoam, in the tutorial that I watched, maybe the lady's hands were super small. But this styrofoam is completely tiny. I can't even imagine a cake being this size. But it seemed easy enough to practice on. And I did find the actual dummy cake or foam cake. Now this is the difference. This I found at Michael's, $8. Oh no, excuse me, $11.99. I got it for $9 something after I used the coupon at Michael's. Now, so this is a foam cake form. So this is a normal size, let's see, maybe 8-inch cake. Compare the difference with this tiny little foam thing for plants, of course, 2 in a pack, I spent $2 for 4 of them versus $11.99 regular price for a cake form from Michaels. So it's up to you if you want to use a normal looking size cake or this smaller cake. Now, if you do, let's say, go to Schnucks and purchase one of their little tiny cakes, it might be around this size. It's a very small looking cake. And a lot of my, uh, let's see, 1-year-old Cake Smash clients, they bring in that smaller looking cake. And, it works. It's not the most decorated looking cake. It might have white icing as the base and maybe a trim of a certain color. I really don't like it when they bring those. It's just not appealing or appeasing to the eye or for the camera. So again, I've decided to decorate these foam fake cakes or dummy cakes for the purpose of the photography and, just to have as a prop. And it should look at least a little better than the Schnucks cakes or the grocery store cakes that you buy the miniature size. All right, so let's get started. What I did was I took some spackle, and I'll just go ahead and start the process over. And this is what I'm trying to accomplish, but I'm going to show you how I started out. Okay, so I get the spackle, and what I decided to do was, not to mention, I did buy, one of the little cake decorating knife things. This thing cost $7. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it. I might just go ahead and return it because it may not be worth it. But going back to our spackle, just using a regular plastic spoon and a regular plastic cup. And I am going to just dip some of the actual spackle into the cup. Just a couple of scoops of it. Not too much, because I really don't need much. It's a small cake. And I have some pink paint. This particular paint, depending on which section of the paint department you're in. It was all in the same section, but it was on different shelves. A couple of these tubes of paint were 97 cents, and a couple of them were 50 cents, and a couple of them were 87 cents. So, don't know why, don't know what the difference is. They're different colors, but why would you make me pay such a big difference? Now, I decided to use like a big glob. In the tutorial that I watched, the lady said a couple of drops, and then she had to do more drops and more drops and more drops. So I said, I'll just go ahead and do a big glob. And I don't see that being a problem. I'm going to use a plastic knife and just whatever's handy. A couple of plastic knives from a restaurant out of the little plastic napkin holder thing. And so I'm just going to stir the spackle and the paint together. Now, again, this is a different color paint from my original, the one that you see in my piping bag. This particular paint is pink polish, all right? And this one is pure pink. So pure pink, and it's mixed with spackle. One thing about it is once you mix it with the white spackle, of course, it's going to tend to be a little bit lighter. So the more paint you put in, the more closer you'll get to the paint color that you chose. All right, so this one that I'm mixing now is pink polish, and again with your white spackle, pink polish, it's turning a little bit lighter. What I wanted to do was make an ombre looking cake. So the bottom tier or a couple of tiers is going to be a little darker. And then the middle section is going to be a little lighter. And then the top will be white. Now, even though I have white spackle, as you can see, I bought white paint because I wanted it to be a pure white. This paint is just called white. I wanted it to look a little bit more white than what the spackle looks, because the spackle to me looks a little tinge of gray. And that was also mentioned in one of the tutorials that I saw. So I wanted to put white in there so that it could look a pure white. Now, I'm thinking that this particular pink polish color is not dark enough, because as you can see, the pink on the bottom of the cake, it's a little dark. So I want to make this more of the color of what the bottle looks like. So I'll put a little bit more in there. And I'm simply using this paint for the purpose of the cakes. I'm not really going to paint anything anytime soon. So I am mixing it for the spackle. Now this lightweight spackle, if you can tell, the consistency of it is pretty easy to stir. It really is. It's very soft and fluffy. So it's just stirring real quick and easy. And I must say, as a disclaimer, the reason why I decided to make my own dummy cakes is I did a search on Amazon for dummy cakes, and each cake that I saw, it wasn't sponsored by Amazon, so it wasn't a Prime, but each cake that I saw was $35 plus. And that would be, the plus would be the shipping and all of that. And if it's not Prime, then it's going to take how long for you to get it. So guess what? The person that's making the cake is doing exactly what this is in order to make the cake. So why not make my own? All right. Now I'm hoping that I'm not spending $35 to make this thing. I don't think I have. So far I spent $2. Let's round it up to 7. So 2, so that's 9. I spent $3 on this, so that's 12. This one might have been $3, so that was 15. This one is about $3, so that's 18. And then the paints, let's average those out as maybe $2, so that's $17. So $17, the person on Amazon would have been making a $17 profit. So, okay, these cakes, I'm spending $17, and if I do a photo shoot, then it's paying for itself so many times over. So I'm pretty proud of myself. Now, again, I'm going to go ahead and, let's see, I might cover this with a plastic bag. So, because I'm not going to use this particular color right now. So, the pink polish, I'm going to cover it in a plastic bag so it can stay soft. And seal that up because I'm not using it right now. All right? But this one I started a little bit earlier. Now, I started it earlier, and I told you why I wanted to restart it. So my little tip is a little dry right now, so I'm going to go ahead and scoop that off. Now, if you notice, it's squirting out, and it's real soft and fluffy, but I'm going to go ahead and scoop off the part that dried when I started earlier. I'm just doing it off to the side real quick. And see if I can get it to squirt out. Nice kind of consistency. All right, so I got my little turntable, and I am scooping and making little dips. Now, this is my first time doing this, And I'm trying to do it real cute. Let's see. Scoop, 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 scoop. You can't see anything. Wait. It's fun, though. So I'm going to laugh through it. Now, let me do it the way the cake decorators on television do it. They take this and they turn it around. Oh, another little thing. This is, instead of using a cake decorating bag, I am using a gallon freezer bag. Now, that was another suggestion from one of the tutorials I watched. Now, if you can see, scoop, 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 and I'm making little flowery type turns. And, you know, for someone who's never decorated a cake in their life, I am pretty proud of myself. Now, I see a little couple mistakes here, so I'm just gonna try and fix them. And just like anyone else, you can feel how the bag is like pushing out the little cake. Let's call it icing. You know, it's just pushing it out, and it's making little designs. So I'm gonna try and fill in a couple of these gaps. Hopefully it's coming together. It looks kind of weird for me, but from a distance in a picture, it might look like a cake. So I know I'm laughing at my own joke, but that's funny. This is my first time doing this, so I am pretty proud so far. Now, when you've seen the people on the cake decorating shows, when it gets a little low, they just push it on down. And you just push it on down. Again, I'm using a plastic freezer bag. A plastic freezer bag. So I'm just going to push it on down. And if I make too much of a mistake, all I'll have to do is scrape this off and do it again. This is not a real cake. This is a dummy cake. And it's just for the purpose of a picture. Now, this side looks a little weird. It could be the back of the picture. It could be in the background, so that's not a problem. Or I could scoop that little piece off and redo it. Let me see. I'm not certain. I might just do that. I might not. I might just do that. Let me do that. And this will show you how to get the spackle inside of the bag. So I'll go ahead and try that part. So I'll put this piping bag down for a second. And I'll go ahead and use my spackle tool. And I'm just going to take this off. This little section right here. And I'm going to put it back in my piping bag. So I scooped it off, and I'm just going to take it down, put it back in the piping bag. Scoop it some more. Now, I found it easier I might use a plastic knife, so I'll just do this real quick. It's easier to use this to put it in the piping bag. So I use a plastic knife. This is the one I was using for this particular cake. I'm just going to scrape it off. This particular color, I'm sorry. And I'm putting it back in my piping bag. So these are the things that you really don't get to see people do, but I'm sure, you know, when people are decorating cakes, they're not always having a steady hand, or it's not always perfect. So this is my little practice, and I'm just going to show you the real deal of how this is working for me. So I'm just literally taking it and scooping off the part that I don't like and putting it back in the piping bag. All right, so now I have to get the consistency down to, let's see, squirt some of the air out. Get the consistency down to the bottom of the bag. Twist it. And I'll try and hide the little top of the bag. And pipe, 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 pipe. That looks a little weird. Pipe, 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 pipe. That looks better. Pipe, 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 pipe. Little squirt right there. Okay, and then I'll do this side. Pipe, 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 pipe. And let me squeeze down a little. Oh, well, that wasn't supposed to happen. Scrape it off, and I can put it right back in the bag. That's what happens when you have too much air in the bag. So you have to, and I'm learning as I go. So that's pretty much, wow, how did I know that? But learn from experience. So again, get some of this air out. I'm going to take the air out from the top this time. And I'm going to try and squish some of the cake decoration, piping, and I'm going to go ahead and put it on the cake again. So this icing, it kind of looks like icing. It might look like a hot mess, but it kind of looks like a cake to me. Now, the bottom tier, it might look a little strange, but I think if I keep going, I'm going to get the hang of it. All right, so this is my first time doing this, and I'm pretty excited. I think it looks good. Now, it's not edible, it's not for eating, so we're just going to keep going. Now, looking at this amount here for the next color, I'm not sure if I have enough. And like I said, I'm doing an ombre. Now, one thing that I am noticing, as I go forward, this is starting to settle. It looks like it's like oozing down, even though, I mean, it's got a little texture to it, but it feels like it might be sliding down. So I may change my design. I may change my design. And this particular situation, it happened to one of the other tutorials that I watched. And I believe she changed her design too. And what she did was, and this is, I don't want to be a quitter, but I want to make sure that it looks like a cake. She just took it off. And let me see, I'm gonna put it back. And so this is my third time trying. And she turned it into a flat ombre cake. So I might go ahead and do that. So what do you call it? What it typically would be called is a naked cake. So I'm gonna go ahead and try that then. So I do need a particular layer of icing. Oh, glue is not sticking. I'm going to take this off, put it back in the piping bag. Because I just don't like the way that the texture is. It looks a little soft. It's not giving me the flowers that I want. Now, as I learn, I want to be able to make rosettes and make the little swirly flowers and everything. But at this point, this is my first try. So I am going to just try and accomplish a cake at this point. So how did she do it? Let's see. If we just make a flat ombre cake, what we can do is just go ahead and just put the icing on the bottom layer. Now, this is not a real cake, so using a spackle tool is not a problem. This is not edible. I would not allow anybody to put this anywhere near their mouth. And I believe, you know, for even doing my cake smash process or pictures, that I probably would not use this type of form for a little kid anyway, because a small child, first off, wouldn't understand that this is very, very lightweight. So I don't want them to pick it up, because you don't really have control over what a small child will or will not do in a photo shoot. You practically, you know, try and get them to sit in one spot, and you take a picture and you see what's going to happen. So in this particular case, I would not want this lightweight styrofoam prop basically to be in the hands of a little kid and it go flying across the room. So I will probably just save this particular prop for adults, and it'll be just another prop in the photo shoot that'll be used just to be in the background. They might pick it up and pretend like they're gonna take a bite or something, but you know, we just need atmosphere basically for my adult clients. So add some more and make it kind of thick like cake icing with some texture. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I don't want any gaps. So, and I like this turntable thing. I really do like it. And I'm glad I was able to save $1 versus spending, you know, another $1 just for something that's pretty much the same design, but was just from a different section of the store. You know, why not save $1? I'm gonna go ahead and clean up some of this extra at the bottom, so because why waste it? Put it inside the piping bag. Okay, I am getting a nice little texture. I like it. I like it. All right, so I'm going to keep on just adding more texture to it and thickness, because because I do not want the cake to fall apart. I want it to dry as a whole and I want it to stay together for future use. This being a prop, it can be used multiple times, and I might just, why make ombre? I might make the sides this color, and then the top tier, I'll make it thick. I do want it to be thick because I want it to be as solid as possible once it dries. So add some more. Now I will say this as a just injection into this particular video. I have no experience making cakes other than one time when I was 12 years old. I made a cake for my mom's birthday. Now let's see. My mom is 20 years older than me, so if I was 12, she turned 32. All right. I remember she was at work, and I decided to bake a cake and invite our family over for her birthday. And so I call myself baking a cake. The one time in my life that I've baked a cake from scratch. Now, I call myself being a baker when I was young. My mom taught me how to bake biscuits very early in life, and sugar cookies. So I would bake biscuits, homemade biscuits, and sugar cookies all the time. But this particular day, I was baking a cake for my mom's birthday. And on that day, I baked a cake, and it looked delicious. Now, it looked delicious, but I remember once everybody came to the party and we cut into the cake. The cake had this strange grayish, silverish hue on the inside, and the cake tasted absolutely horrible. And I said to myself, I would never bake a cake again in my life. And that includes Betty Crocker and everybody else. I refused to bake a cake for the rest of my entire life, and I have not done so since because I was so embarrassed. No one complained. Everybody let the 12-year-old, have her moment, and I appreciate that. But I thought the cake was absolutely disgusting, and I said I would never bake a cake again. And we have been a store-bought cake family for my entire life, other than my mom baking cakes. But my raising kids, they have never had a homemade cake from their mom, and they never will. This is about as close as we can get. Now, as you can see, I've changed my technique again. And this particular technique seems to look a lot better. I feel comfortable with this particular technique. So I like it. I like the design. I like the style of it. It's cute. And I am going to switch to the other color. Now, what I don't have is another spackle utensil. So what I'm going to do is clean this one off. I have a paper towel, and it should be able to just wipe right off. I'll scoop off as much as I can here in the piping bag. Now, this is making me decide that I might, unless I get the courage to try and pipe again, I may take all of this stuff back. Or I may use these things to pipe on the top. But piping on the sides was hard, and I don't like it. So I'm going to think that particular process. So I'm just going to clean this off. It doesn't have to be perfect because I am going to just switch colors, and this doesn't really need, it's not going to really bother. I don't imagine this particular color, this lighter color. Now, stirring it up just to make sure that the consistency is okay, because it might have settled a little, and I don't have to worry about this settling now. When I was piping it down on the sides at first, I was having a problem with this settling. Now, thinking about this, I may decide to use this particular tool. I hate to say that, but I did spend like $7 on this, six something, $7 with tax, I imagine. I'm going to go ahead and put this on with the knife. Now, most families, mothers, people who bake cakes, they might put it on with the knife, just like this, just like this. And what I'm thinking is, just like any other cake, I may put some of this plaster on the inside of here because this glue did not work. So the glue from the dollar store, as you can see, it did not stick. Now, it kept these other layers together. I'm all right with that. But let me see. I'll do like any other cake baker, and I'll put some icing in between my layer just to see if it'll stay on, if it'll help me keep my top layer on there. Now, I'm not really trying to like decorate, but I'm just trying to plaster this top layer to the second layer. So I just put it on there, and hopefully once it dries, it'll stay in place. All right, so, all right, that should do something. And I'll go ahead. Oh, I know what may have happened. The more paint I put in there, it probably loosened up the plaster. So that's a learning tip. It probably made the plaster a little bit looser. So when I put those extra globs of paint in there, so that's something to think about. I may, let's see, I may go ahead and bring this darker color, let's see, up to the top, or no, I think I'll go with what I was planning to do, because I still wanted that ombre effect, I guess. Go ahead and take this and spackle it up in an ombre type fashion, I guess. So same concept. Make sure, because there was the part that the top styrofoam was a little smaller than the other styrofoam circles. So I'll go ahead and try and fill in the gaps. Oh, some of the color didn't get mixed, so I'll go ahead and scoop that in. And let's make sure you can see. So with my little turntable, just try and get it in there. Go ahead and turn. The turntable was definitely a good idea. Turntable was definitely a good idea. but the cake turntable was not the best option for the price. Save $1 wherever you can. Okay, I'm just getting it in there now. And it's not going to matter that the top tier, I guess, or top layer of the cake is not the same size once the spackling is on, because, let's see, some of my color got mixed in, because once all of the icing is on there, it's going to all look one size. So I'm just getting my icing out, and I'm going to just try and do the same technique as I did on the previous tier or layer. Just the same technique, just trying to fill it in. So take some of the excess, and now I have the paper towel on here just so I can avoid mess, so it's not for any other purpose. Trying to keep my workstation clean. And just same technique. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just to look like some type of cake. For the background of a picture. It'll be in the background. The photography subject may decide to touch it or pick it up, or, you know, look at it or hold it or whatever. That's up to her, as long as she acts like it's a cake. Let's see. Got a little hole there, so I'm just trying to fill it in. When I do videos, that I pretty much like to do real life. I'm not so much on editing. Videography is not really one of my skills. I am more of a photographer, so I just want to do little tutorials on how to make props and try and bring commentary. So to me, this is quite entertaining and fun, and it's giving me something to do, and hopefully giving the viewer something to do. I know I spend a lot of my time watching YouTube videos because it's interesting to see how other people live their lives. And it looks like I might have a cake. Let me go ahead and make this texture look a little, and then there's a couple of spots that I want to make a little bit more appealing. Because you never know what side the photography subject will hold. So try and make it look cute. Try and make it look cute with texture. So let's see. And I think it's getting there. Kind of looks like a cake. It looks like a cake if, you know, any regular person would be decorating. Basically, you just don't want to leave any blank spots or any gaps. Swirl it. Now, if I were brave, I might try and make a rosette on the top. I don't know. Uh-oh. Now with this very, very soft plaster, you know, you gotta have a gentle hand because every once in a while you might nick and actually feel yourself touching the styrofoam. And so that's what I'm trying to avoid doing, touching the styrofoam. But at the end of it, it looks like I might have some kind of cake. I mean, something for a client to hold. And, you know, it looks quite interesting. And what I would need to do, let me see if I can hold it up for you. What I would need to do is to let it dry. And with the plaster on there, it has a little weight to it. I mean, it looks like a decorated cake. Now, with the colors, you know, a pink cake might be something that would be appealing to a client or two. It's something that I can offer as a prop. And I think once all the plaster dries, it will be something that could be used. I think I did a pretty good job. I'm proud of myself. So let's see, what did I end up using? The turntable, excellent purchase. It's still brand new. It's not barely used. I'm pretty comfortable with that. A couple of paper towels, a paper plate, styrofoam from the dollar store, plaster, lightweight plaster from Home Depot. I think the lightweight plaster was light enough. If the featherweight plaster is lighter than this, I don't think I would want to use it because this was light enough, and as you can see, the consistency of it was lighter than what actual icing may be, buttercream icing may be. So I don't think that I would use anything lighter than this lightweight plaster. I used the spackling tool from the dollar store. I used one of my little, I guess, Tupperware, not Tupperware, Gladware bowls. I'll just throw this one away. But I went on ahead and I used a plastic cup for the other color. And that was perfect. I've used a couple of plastic utensils. And let's see. I used the paint, the 50-cent paint. I didn't use the white one in this particular cake, dummy cake, but I may use it for any of the other cakes. I plan on making cakes in every color. So this was pretty cool. I may go ahead and make, you know, a solid hot pink cake. And I did buy some other colors from Walmart. I bought some teal colors. I bought green if I were planning on making some little flowers and their little petals, leaf petals or whatever. I had an orange photo shoot yesterday, so I decided to get orange. And of course, most cakes might have orange flowers on them or something. I have yellow, I have a lighter color blue, and that's something to think about. With this, I bought the 2 colors of pink and the 2 colors of blue. Depending on, well, that's not true. If I had just purchased the dark color of the pink, I could have used fewer drops and made a lighter color with the plaster and the dark pink instead of spending the money to buy the lighter color pink. So the same thing would be true for the darker blue. Now, this looks more, it's called aquamarine. I almost said this looks more like an aquamarine. I don't know if I would have been able to achieve, the same, let's see, the same color, you know, a lighter version or this color with a lighter version of this. It would have been in the same family, but it might not have been the same exact color as aquamarine. So it's just up to the person. But a few less drops of this would have made a lighter color blue. That makes sense. I also purchased a purple color. So this purple color would make somebody's cake a nice color as well. So let's see. Oh, I got an even darker blue. So that's interesting. These three, they may have made certain shades. I don't know. But at the end of the day, one thing that I did learn was I do not like this adhesive. I should have probably used a hot glue gun. So I do believe hot glue guns and styrofoam work together. So in the future, a hot glue gun would work better than this adhesive from the dollar store. I don't like it. I don't see me using it ever again. And then another thing at the end of the day, the plaster should seal the cake, because at no point should the client touch the cake or pick the cake up by hand like this, or at no point would I do that. So the plaster should seal the cake, and you saw me seal that layer that did not stick with the glue with actual plaster. So I believe that should work. This I may take back. Now I could use it for, like, if I wanted just a smooth cake all together and I just scrape completely. But if I'm thinking about it, I could just use a piece of cardboard. So this is possibly going back, saving me $7. So I think my project is done. I'm pretty happy about what I came up with. The colors are interesting, and I'd like to thank you for watching an episode of TS Ditto Photography's tutorial on how to make a fake cake. Tune in next time. Just like everybody else says, like, subscribe, listen for notifications. If you choose to do so, that would make me very happy. Right now I have just a handful of followers, but I'd like to get more. Woo! But again, this was a fun project, and I'm planning to do future projects. My next project, I think I will probably tackle this giant styrofoam cake form. But I'm not sure if I have the courage to do that right away. I think I might practice on a few more of these little bitty ones, and then I'll work my way up. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.